With the release of the film Godzilla vs. Kong, it got me thinking about the general popularity of Godzilla. I was always fascinated by Godzilla movies. Creatures like this touches on a very interesting aspect of human imagination. It reminds us that we know so little about the world. In West Africa, specifically amongst the Soninka people, they seem to have their own version of an all-powerful mythical creature, one that played a role in human civilization. What up, African world? It's Home Team here, and welcome back to another video of African history, culture, and worldview. My website Afrographics is available for resources on African history if you need it. And also, if you like this channel, you can support this content on patreon.com. And with a word from my sponsors, there's a new social media platform dedicated to educating and uplifting our people. No longer do we have to be censored for speaking our truth. Our Black Truth is Black owned and operated, and a place where you can post your businesses and even monetize your content. You can download the app at Google Play or the App Store, and you can visit the website at ourbblacktruth.com. Links to everything in the description box below. The continent of Africa is pretty big, and it's home to a vast array of animals. Our ancestors quickly took note of this. Many cultures across the continent immortalized certain animals in their mythology and even in their religion. Rock paintings present on African soil show very clear evidence of human interaction with animals, and it may also reveal their fascination with them. Ancient Egypt is well known for the inclusion of animals in mythology and religion. Animals seem to be a coveted utility for representing spiritual concepts and beliefs. According to the Encyclopedia of African Religion, all animals are sacred in African religious traditions. They play vital roles in the creation of the heavens, earth, and people. They bring messages of life, death, social order, customs, and practices. Some are regarded as deities, whereas others represent deities. On a practical level, animals provide food for humans and are a source of social wealth and standing. I find it interesting that early mythological oral stories, if you will, speak about how humans and animals once communicated with each other quite normally. In some cases, African stories speak about how animals were the first teachers of humans. In a more tangible way, we have seen how oral accounts speak about the Nubians along the Nile who learned how to wrestle from observing monkeys. The history of humans and animals on the continent is quite expansive if you do just a little digging. Given this history, it's inevitable that at least one African people would speak about an all-powerful Godzilla-like creature with the ability to make or break human civilization. And this is exactly what we see amongst the Soninka people of West Africa. The mythological story of Bida, the legendary super snake, is at the core of Soninka civilization. Bida represented not only the protection and sustenance of Soninka civilization, but he also represented the end of it. In my personal opinion, I think if we were to find the equivalent of Godzilla in African mythology, the closest we can get is Bida. But unlike Godzilla, Bida represented so much more to African civilization. Ironically, according to one account, Bida was born of a human and a spirit, and his physical presence manifested itself in the form of a giant snake with several heads. Bida settled in a region near Kumbisela, which is part of modern-day Mauritania today. He and his human brother came to an agreement about settling on that land, and with proper sacrifice, Bida would ensure that gold and other valuable items would rain down on the Kingdom of Ghana, also known as Wagadu. The Kingdom of Ghana later became a vast empire that was well known for its riches. Merchants from all over would go there and trade and to acquire wealth. Muslim writers frequently wrote about the gold that Ghana had, and so the Bida myth continued to be intrinsically tied to Soninka identity and civilization. One of the most interesting things that separates Bida from Godzilla is not power, but their origin story. Bida seems to have been conceived as a sort of founder of civilization, but Godzilla seems to be conceived from the destruction of civilization. Some advance the idea that Godzilla was conceptualized as a metaphor to represent the destructive force of nuclear weapons, and his arrival marked the end in a sense. Yet, in stark contrast, Soninka oral tradition advances the idea that the death of Bida was the end of traditional African society, the arrival of foreign spiritual influence being their version of Godzilla. No consensus among scholars concerning the death of Bida and what it meant for African society is conclusive. But it does seem clear that the death of Bida did represent something, because his slaying ended the Ghana Empire, according to the myth. The last words of Bida himself make that very clear, as he doomed Ghana to a fate of famine and economic decline. Godzilla seems to represent something evil, a thing that needed to be done away with. However, Bida represented something necessary, a necessary evil, if you will. Some African cultures don't necessarily have a concept of pure evil, at least in the way we imagine it today. But I think the most fair way to describe it would be the issue between balance versus imbalance. In fact, according to the Encyclopedia of African Religion, in Yoruba philosophy, Ire, which represents good, and Ibi, which represents evil, are considered to be the major forces that actually control the universe. In a sense, good is believed to be of no special relevance without evil. This spiritual concept exemplifies itself in the Bida story, because you would think the end of this tyrannical beast would actually bring about peace, but it created a major imbalance within Soninka civilization. The concept of evil actually balancing out the world is not an un-African concept. Anyway, the portrayal of Godzilla is diverse, and that needs to be acknowledged. He does not always represent destruction, but sometimes he can be seen as a defender of humanity, and so there is some nuance there. But comparing an ancient African beast to a more modern one is fascinating nonetheless. Well, I'm all out, guys. If you like these videos and would like to help in its continued production, consider supporting the home team on patreon.com. The link is in the description box below. Know thyself. Remember your ancestors. Peace.